What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Grim Dawn Reign of Terror Diablo II Remake. In our last adventure, we were clearing the counters in the Black Marsh, and it was great because I actually skipped this boss when I was in the normal mode, and it's great to have cleared it during the nightmare mode. There was also a very interesting chest that gave us good loots. I actually did a run back to see if that chest would be there for farming. Unfortunately, that chest is gone. So it is a unique chest that probably would appear only once at the moment on the first time when you complete the quest. So it can't be found, unfortunately. So in this episode, we'll be spending more time combing through Act 1 and heading up to Andariel. I'm not too sure whether would we be able to cover it, but at least we should head sufficiently deep into the catacombs to find the waypoints. And if all is smooth, we probably could venture deeper and meet Andariel herself, the nightmare version of Andariel. I've actually took a break over the weekends from this game, spending more time with family. But okay, so far I don't think I'm a bit rusty from the game. Things are still quite intuitive. Oops, mana is burning out as usual. Yeah, I think this is the way. So as mentioned, we did do this rune word. I think it's peace, which allows us to produce an additional Valkyrie if we, not a very high chance, about 5% chance when hit to produce an additional Valkyrie. So I am appreciating the additional pet that I'm having. The Valkyrie is a good pet to have. Having two of them is really fabulous. So this is definitely a must. It is a definitely clear upgrade from my Ice Blink armor, which brought me safely from normal mode into nightmare, but I think it's time to change out of it. So yeah, this is Act 1, the Tamo Highlands. I think there could be some bonus areas here, but we probably would just make quick work out of it and head into the catacombs as fast as we could. So it's great to see this. Yeah, I think that's the additional bonus area which I mentioned. The pit. I know in classic D2 people used to farm the hell version of pit because supposedly it gives very good drops, but we probably will skip this area for nightmare mode and just head into the catacombs. So there isn't any waypoint for Tamo Highlands, so just carry on. And it's not a very big area, but I do love the remodeled terrain that the mod developers have introduced for this place. It's a pretty good interpretation. Ooh, those are very fast. Oops, making good work, making good work out of it. We might respect maybe later in nightmare mode. I probably would still want to keep the fire arrow because it's particularly useful for clearing corridors and caverns in Act 1 all the way to probably Act 3 of Nightmare. But you know, given the open terrain in Act 4 and Act 5, fire arrow might be less useful compared to the other Amazon skills, or even like a Javelin. Oh, that's quite a lot of mobs. That's a elite. Oops. Oh, I should have left the town portal, but probably will just quickly run back. Okay, that's the part where I was rusty. I should have left the town portal. Okay, the Black Marsh. Oh, so here we are, back to the Black Marsh. Yeah, that's the nature of an Amazon. While we handle DPS mobs fast, right? The problem is when an elite is hidden in those mobs, they tend to take the Amazon up pretty fast. So I am thinking, like, you know, while I'm quite motivated to start a necromancer or sorceress once my Amazon clears nightmare mode and venturing to hell mode, I am thinking whether should I perhaps do the barbarian instead, because that would probably be more hardy and would easily bring me through hell mode. I found a few unique gladius, what we commonly call the unique sword, the blood ladder. So that would actually make quite a good whirlwind barbarian. Not the best sword, but I mean that is actually a good gear to use in up to nightmare, I guess. And okay, good to drop a town border here. Nightmare mode. I'm not finding a lot of pieces for the barbarian at the moment. Definitely there are a lot of physical gear, physical attack gear which we could use. But let's keep that in mind. And if we were to do a barbarian, you know, like what would you guys recommend as a good complement to the barbarian build? Maybe a paladin for the auras, or something else. Happy to hear your thoughts about it. So do leave in the comments if you have any suggestions what I could be pairing, what could be the second class of my barbarian, be it a paladin, be it I probably wouldn't do a necromancer. They totally wouldn't overlap. Or maybe even like a barbarian druid. That could be interesting. At least we have gotten our first waypoint. Ooh. Okay, that's the beauty of Amazon, especially with a fire damage one. It shoots through the door. That's fun. Okay, so we have to take our chances. No way I'm opening that door without clearing the mobs. Ooh, 2 sockets. Maybe that's helpful for necromancer gear. As usual, repeated in many of my earlier videos. Collect all equipment with all items with slots, because you never know when they would be useful for doing your next room work. Okay, we are lucky. We have found the barracks, the way down. Yeah, this is the part where fire arrow is useful, especially blocking mobs at the corridor. I do need to work on the mana. Oh, there's also the additional quest of Gothic Staff. Maybe there could be a sorcerer's reward if possible. I'm just guessing here. Okay, maybe let's go look for the Horrific Malice. If I'm not wrong, the rewards was in normal was a rare ring or a set item. I can't remember, but probably would be a good. It might be a good quest to do in Nightmare. Let's see if I will get something better. And since we are so close by, might as well, right? We might as well do it. My second Valkyrie isn't spawning, probably because I'm not giving them any chance to hit me. So, oops, how do I land up in this? Okay, this is where I need to be careful. Yeah, with that elite, I've gotten my second Valkyrie being spawned. So I think we are at full force for now. I wonder how I would fare against the armorer in the smith in nightmare mode. Let's try him out. That will be a good gauge against how we will fare against Andariel. I remember doing very badly in normal because the Amazon skills aren't that strong in normal mode until probably like Act 3. Once you gain a few levels at level 20-30. I remember running away from Andariel pretty badly because first is because of the poison damage. The second part is because I aren't really that hardy against her when on the melee range. So Andariel is actually quite a tough boss for casters and ranged attacks. At least for Act 1, Act 2, Andariel Duriel. I find Mephisto and Diablo slightly easier. And I guess I did pretty well against Bale in Act 5 normal. So yeah, Andariel is usually the tougher one to clear, followed by Duriel. Still not finding the smith though. I wonder where. Oh, okay. I think we are near. I can see the stars. Yeah, I don't have any mana. The mana potion is on cooldown. If I need to work on something, it's probably my mana storage or even my mana recovery. Okay, that's the beauty of two Valkyries, but yeah, they are not stopping him. Oh, that's fast. Anything good? Probably nothing. Yeah. I probably will pick up all this gold. I probably will pick up all these rare items for selling. From my experience of crafting my rune words, I do note that good rune words do cost a lot of gold. So it might be good to have a stash of gold. So I've actually gained about. I actually had about 240k of gold when I left the normal mode and entered nightmare. Crafting my rune word bow cost me about 100k gold in my earlier video, whereas the piece armor cost me about 30k if I remember it. If I remembered it correctly. So always save up the rare items to sell for gold. I think gold is still a very precious resource in this game, and I wonder if there will be any further need for gold beyond just crafting rune words. But certainly I will try to save up as much as I could. So two main concerns for my Amazon, at least that I can see now. One is, oops, we are not finding our way. Probably down here. So I guess the major concern is really about survivability. How can we survive? Mob rushes like earlier on, whereby a big bunch of mobs comes in with an elite hidden. Ooh, always pick up slaughter items with slots. So one is that, and the other one is mana potions, which reminds me that the next time I get up, I probably get back to town. Oh, that's the stairs. Not too far. Which reminds me that next time we get to town, we probably should get some mana pots. I'm drinking mana pots really fast. Oh, we made a unnecessary trip around the map. Oh. Okay, barracks. The jail. So for all of those who are seeing Act 1 for the first time, this is quite an interesting map. Very nice renderings by the mod developers. It almost feels like you are playing D2.5. It is definitely a big upgrade from D2. There's some similar feels to D3, except that I like it that the map and gameplay seems a bit darker. So that's the beauty of it. Oh, this is interesting. A 3-socketed bone dagger. I mean, usually in classic D2 bone daggers, daggers in general are just 2 sockets at most. So this is quite interesting that a 2-slot item has a 3-socket. Okay, good. We have found the waypoint. I probably guess that bone dagger wouldn't be used to make any rewards, because that wouldn't be classic D2. But let's see whether would these developers surprise us with any other rewards. I haven't studied them too much beyond just bows and armor suitable for the Amazon. Yeah. That strap that I'm using seems to work really well as well. Given I've actually invested quite a fair bit of points, 20 points so far in strap, and it's working a bit better. Although I think the damage dealt isn't as high as the fire arrows, but I think in terms of mana consumption, it's definitely a more economical skill to use. Yeah, especially when you're seeing single mobs, it might be more economical to use strength. It's costing me. Oops, this doesn't say. Okay, let's find our way through the jail. Okay, let's try using strength. Clearing pretty well as well. I think the damage of strength has picked up quite a bit, especially with the crits as well. I'm just thinking whether would it be viable to build a Amazon purely on strength. I mean, I used to do multi-shot and strength. I just wonder whether would it be viable and is my damage high enough? Because I think strength and others are quite gear dependent versus fire arrow, which is more skills dependent because of the synergies and stuff. So if you have a good bow and a good gear, you probably could just use strength. But if you are like me, just starting brand new in this game, maybe fire arrow or ice arrow or the ice arrow tree will serve you better. Nothing here. I think the difficult if I were to be really strict and complain, right, I think the only part that I probably find difficult in this game is to find the entrance and doorways, because they aren't really that clear in the map. At least visibly. So sometimes I'm really guessing my way around the map because I really can't see the doorways that clearly as compared to maybe the classic D2 or even D3. So I think the doorways or the indication of a door could be better illustrated on the map or better represented on the map. But otherwise, not much major complaints. maybe a better way to conserve mana would be to use strength and fire arrow in alternate modes, just to give give my mana a bit more time to recover. Maybe that's a good way to balance the mana usage. Yeah, and sometimes I just shoot too many fire arrows. See, as mentioned, sometimes I'm really guessing my way where a doorway is located. But probably that's also the fun of D2, which is finding your way and guessing your way through the maps. So we have actually leveled up, and probably once I clear this mobs, we can spec the character. One more to Valkyrie, one more to Strath, and one to Might in Paladin. Okay, let's recast the Amazon. Let's recast the Valkyrie. Yeah, I probably would use Strath if the mobs are a bit more scattered and that I'm pretty sure there isn't much mobs behind. Because sometimes fire arrow could really miss a mob and therefore consume too much arrows, too much mana. Okay, nope. I thought that was the entrance. Okay, let's move on. Good to drop a town portal. Nope, nothing here. Nothing here. Well, the best way is to head down. I have not studied the new trees that well as classic Amazon in D2. I'm just wondering what other skills could be complementary to Strath in order to increase its effectiveness, almost like how the fire arrow was being enhanced with the other two exploding arrow and immolation arrows. Maybe let's just quickly study that. I don't think so. Any of the magic arrows or guided arrows would enhance this arrow tree. Maybe penetrate. Or retreat the defensive aura. Yeah, maybe those who pierce. That sounds good. Yeah. I probably would invest one or two auras in the paladin tree and maybe invest the rest of my skills, if I have any left in the first place, to the penetrate or retreat aura and for the Amazon. I do feel that fire arrow doesn't seem to be that effective in Nightmare. I'm not one-shotting this. I'm not one-shotting the mobs anymore, and I probably need about 2 arrows to do so. So that's one problem. Okay, we are at the inner Colossus. Rule of the game: take all items with slots. Cathedral. Ooh. Oh, I got frozen. Sometimes items are quite hard to pick up in this Reign of Terror for some reasons. Of course, there's an auto loot that picks up crafting mats. I do find picking up rare items sometimes kind of difficult. Ooh. Okay, catacombs level 1. We spent about half an hour coming to this place. Oh, that's terrifying. I hate these little guys. Pesky. Let's see where we can find our way through this. Ooh, rip hook. I think that is a dagger. That's a unique D2 dagger if I'm not wrong. I would say that unique drops aren't that good in this game. I mean in today's gameplay. I usually will find more uniques in the past. Oh, rip hook is actually a bow, a unique bow. If I were to look at it, it probably wouldn't be as useful as my current bow, the Edge Ruinwood bow, just by damage or even with the additional stats and stuff. Something interesting is there's a 43% slow target for 3 seconds. That's good, as well as 150 mana. But other than that, my Ruinwood bow is definitely a much better upgrade. So yeah, that's the problem with mid-tier uniques. Something that I really would want to swap out or even upgrade would actually be my shoulders. I'm actually wearing a rare shoulder from level 5. So think about it. I actually went through an entire normal and didn't even find a pair of better shoulders. So hoping to find a unique shoulder to upgrade, maybe in Nightmare. Whew, we are lucky. Catacombs level 2. There's a waypoint here at Catacombs level 2, and as well as if you were to search this place carefully, you might find a bonus area which has a Uber boss. I actually did a Uber boss in the normal act. It's actually a hidden area added by the developers. I just don't know whether would I be that lucky to find this space again. Although it wasn't an easy kill for me at normal, killing that Uber boss. I can't remember. It's not an easy boss. I actually died like 10 times before I killed that Uber boss. Drops were pretty. I mean, I did it just because this was new, and I wonder whether would I be able to find that Uber boss again. I do see the waypoint. That's good. Waypoint is nearby. That's good. That's something reassuring to find. Hopefully I stay alive until I reach that waypoint. Drop a town portal. Anyway, it doesn't cost anything now. Town portals are free. There's no scrolls of identification or identify in this mod, so those are two things that got phased out. Cool. Did we catch all the? Yeah, we have gotten all the waypoints in Nightmare. Let's go hunt for the entrance or even the way to the Uber boss if we can find it. If we are lucky to find it, or if it exists in Nightmare. I know there's one in normal, but I'm not too sure whether it is still does it exist in Nightmare. It should, technically it should. But you do need a keen eye to find it. I think this is the one. Okay, let's brace ourselves for a battle. I don't know how well I'll fare against this boss. And maybe we could end the video right. Okay, here we are. This is the Uber boss, the Bone Colossus. Just let you have a closer look at this. Not killing me, not killing me. I'm doing pretty well for now. So this is actually okay. This is actually the same as I remembered it in the normal mode. So if you want to find this boss, it isn't that difficult to find. Lucky we made a town portal. So it is actually if you come to this and you see a hidden passage, this is the place. Let's recast all our stuff. Okay. Hopefully we'll do better this time. Let's go. I think we are very close to killing this Uber boss. Man. So a tip for those who find it difficult to. Oh, did he respawn? Damn! I have to re-kill him again. He hits pretty hard actually. That is a Uber boss. The Bone Colossus. Need to be careful here, clearing the mobs, kiting it. Real close, keep it there. I'm out of mana. Damn! So close. I should have ran off to another corner, which was easier to clear. Unfortunately, this guy regained his HP. I remember when I killed him in normal, he didn't recover that much HP. Oh, and my mercenaries on cooldown. Can we do it without my mercenary? I think it's a bit tough. Anyway, let's do it. No point waiting. Oh, see, he recovered some of his HP, but not all. Okay. Oh, I got my mercenary back. He sort of had, well, go too near and you'll be one-shotted. Yeah. Okay, this video will be mostly about me getting killed by this Uber boss, the old Colossus, in Nightmare mode. Yeah, mercenaries on cooldown, so let's heck care and go kill him. He has a dash-like. He has like a dash-like ability that stuns you, almost like the charge of a paladin. Probably pick up my experience. My monk is still on cooldown. My mercenary is still on cooldown. Just keep running, I guess. And at least I have 2 Valkyries. That's the life of an Amazon is all about running. So sad. And I'm running out of mana too. Damn, I should have bought some. Okay, mercenaries up. Ah, damn. Okay, buy more mana pots, and it's always so close. This is not an easy boss to kill. He's back to full HP. Good news. He summons lots of skeletons. That just adds on to the difficulty. He could easily one-shot you if you're not careful. Look up my corpse. HP is low. Almost died. So a tip for you guys, I didn't do it here, is that you can always retreat back into a corridor and he will actually lay back. That's a way to cheat. Although I don't know whether will he recover his HP. Nope, he doesn't. So that's a good way to cheat, you know. Burn him down a bit, retreat back to the corridor, and rinse and repeat. Maybe that's an easier way to do it. That's how I did it in normal. That was how I did it in my normal mode. You know, just retreat, shoot arrows. Yes, retreat. Probably I'll retreat slower this time, and we should get it without dying. Out of mana, that's the problem. Real close, real close, real close. Yay! We have gotten it. Achievement unlocked. Empowered Stormcaller Circlet. I guess this is probably a Grim Dawn item, but pretty good stats. We'll probably keep it. Infernal Strike. Ooh, this is interesting. Fire damage. Any fire damage is always good, but that means me taking off my War Traveler, which adds on to my physical damage. And if I were to compare the stats between these two, I think my War Traveler is a better boot. So there we are. This is the Uber boss. And great, we make good work out of him. The Bone Colossus. We still have space in our stash. 2 more bags, so I think I will persist on and clear Andariel. I think after clearing the Bone Colossus, Andariel isn't anything much. I should have used my retreat tactics along the corridor. That's how I did it in the normal. I just wanted to try whether would I do better in Nightmare, but it seems that that Uber boss is still that strong. Yeah, thanks for enduring my brutal deaths while I cleared through the Bone Colossus. See, that's the part about need to indicate doorways in this mod, because you really can't find your way really that easily. Let's see if we could speed run through this. Hope it's near. Great, I found it. Looks like this is an hour run since the Black Marsh all the way into Catacomb 3. Oh, and we are at Andariel, Catacomb 3. We took about 45 minutes from the Black Marsh, venturing the catacombs, clearing the hidden Uber boss, the Bone Colossus, and reaching Andariel. Though rune, not the best, but I welcome more runes. Rune words are still very useful in this game. I just wonder how I would fare against Andariel. Not gonna open that door. Oh. Let's maybe clear this area first, because we never know whether we'll retreat out in the fight with Andariel. Okay, let's do it. I don't even have full mana. I probably will just strafe just to conserve a bit of mana. Go. I think we are. They certainly have added more mobs as compared to the classic. For those who are seeing Andariel for the first time, there she is. Sorry, some mishaps there. She isn't that hard. She isn't that tough as the world boss. The Bone Colossus. Andariel is easier, relatively easier. Okay, we have cleared her, and that's the end of Act 1. Oh, that's a lot of stats. Okay, this is the interesting part. This is actually a bow for the Necromancer rather than the Amazon. +3 to classic Necromancer. The interesting part is it also has some. Poison Creeper or Spirit Wolf. I think those are the druid skills. This is definitely a very poison driven item. Look at below. Plus 500% poison damage to guided arrow. So I just wonder whether would the Necromancer wearing this be able to shoot poison guided arrows. But as mentioned, guided arrow really isn't that good. But the bonus to pets are pretty good here, to be honest. I will save this for another day when I ever build a Necromancer. And let's see whether this Pass Speeder would be a better item than a classic wand and offhand. There is also a chest here, the Honored Strongbox. Nothing much. And maybe let's end this by going to get our quest rewards. Cool. Yeah, I do want to collect my Horadric Malice reward as well. Ooh, okay, this is where. Okay, this is a two-handed sword. The Tangoro will be helpful for Barbarian. That's it. No rewards. No other rewards. Oh, that's unfortunate. One devotion point and one more inventory bag. Wow, that's a lot of inventory bags. Oh, this looks like a possible upgrade, but the strength requirement is crazy. 500 strength. I don't have 500 strength, so that's the problem I mentioned to you guys. It's really tough to swap out of my current shoulders. I have been trying so hard to do so. Yeah. So with that, so thank you guys for joining me today in this quest. And I will see you in the next video then. Sure. Thank you so much and goodbye.